Hey everyone, I thought I would do the read aloud today. This is All the Way to America, the story of a big Italian family and a little shovel by Dan Yaccarino. From Sorrento all the way to New York on a ship. I wonder how long that took. For my grandmother Helen, this is the story of my family. Some parts have been condensed a bit, but it's all true and all Italian. Oh, they're growing tomatoes. What an interesting looking shovel. My great-grandfather, Michele Accarino, grew up on a farm in Sorrento, Italy. When he was a boy, his father gave him a little shovel so he could help tend the zucchini, tomatoes, and strawberries that his family sold in the village. They worked very hard, but were always very poor. And so, when he was a young man, Michele left Italy and went all the way to America in search of new opportunities. Work hard, his father told him, handing him the little shovel. But remember to enjoy life and never forget your family, his mother said. She hugged him and gave him their new family photograph, gave him their few family photographs and a recipe for tomato sauce. I wonder why those things were important: the shovel, photographs, and the recipe for tomato sauce. What three items would you bring to a foreign country? It was a long journey, and how different New York was from his tiny village in Italy. Like many immigrants passing through Ellis Island at the turn of the last century, he was given a new name. Michele Accarino was now Michael Yaccarino. He was happy to be in America, but never forgot his family in Sorrento. I wonder how he felt about having to change his name. Ooh, that looks yummy. Friends from home helped each other in this new country. Michael found work in a bakery owned by a man who had also come from Sorrento. Michael polished his little shovel till it shined and used it to measure out flour and sugar. So he went from using it in the garden to now it measures out flour and sugar. Michael met Adeline, and soon they were married. They found an apartment in a neighborhood called Little Italy, where many other recent immigrants lived as well. They had 5 children and did their best to teach them to work hard, enjoy life, and love their family. Michael started his own business as a pushcart peddler and continued to use the little shovel this time to measure out dried fruit and nuts. His oldest son was named Aniello, but everyone called him Dan. Back then, children often had to leave school to help support their families, so from the age of 12, Dan worked for his father. When Dan grew up, he married Helen. These are my grandparents. Together, Dan and Helen opened a market. Looks very nice, very busy, clean. They sold all sorts of wonderful Italian food. Now the little shovel belonged to Dan, and he used it to measure out beans, macaroni, and olives. Dan had always dreamed of living in the country, so he and Helen bought a house with a big yard and raised a family there. He loved having everyone over for Sunday dinners. Pizza. Dan's love of cooking led him to open a restaurant. He made pizza, eggplant parmesan, and spaghetti, all with his grandmother's tomato sauce, of course. Dan's son Mike would help out in the kitchen after school. By now, the family was so large that celebrations were held at the restaurant. Everyone would come together to talk, laugh, and, of course, eat. When Mike was a young man, he married Elaine. These are my parents. Mike opened a barber shop, and he used a little shovel to pour rock salt over the sidewalk whenever it snowed. I grew up in a big house in the suburbs, not far from my grandparents. We had a garden in the backyard, and I would help my father tend to the tomato plants. Every year, my parents would take my brother, my sister, and me to the Feast of the San Gennaro in Little Italy. We watched the parade, listened to Italian folk songs, and ate hot zeppoli. I loved New York City. I wonder what zeppoli are. Donuts. So when I grew up, I moved back to the city where my great-grandfather, Michele, had lived. Work hard, my father told me as he handed me the little shovel. But remember to enjoy life. And don't forget to call your family, said my mother. I did work hard, and after a few years, I became an author and illustrator, creating books for children. Then I married Sue, and soon our son was born. He is named Michael, after my father and great grandfather. Now I watch Michael and his sister Lucy work on our small terrace, and with the very same shovel that their great great grandfather brought all the way to America, we grow zucchini, tomatoes, and strawberries. I do my best to teach them to work hard, enjoy life, and love their family. Story came full circle. The end. Now, can you remember all the things that they used the shovel for?